Welcome to the PDX files. Each week we dive into the weird and the unexplained here in the Pacific Northwest and beyond. My name is Peej.
And I'm Mac.
And Mac, what are we talking about today?
Well, it's an interesting topic. We kind of like to go into cryptids, and this gentleman here who's done this video again, I highly recommend you go view. Link will be in the description, but he does this state by state look at the various cryptids within the states, the legends, and I gotta say I didn't know any of these before watching this. It's really interesting. You're going to see some similarities to maybe some other cryptids legends that are out there, but this is for us here. That we're back at the PNW. We're back in Oregon. Let's get it on.
All right, as usual, I have not seen this video, so my reactions will be authentic. Here we go.
Shocking to find that this state not only has a variety of cryptids, but a huge percentage of them are water-based ones. So, let's don our scuba gear and check some out. Starting off the
Sounds
list,
like Norm McDonald or something.
or Wallawa Lake Monster. Exact descriptions of this creature are hard to come by, but most liken it to a plesiosaur, although earliest legends claim it is a sea cow, not to be confused with a manatee. It is said to have a 10 to 12 foot long neck, a flat head like a hippopotamus, a massive body with many humps, and a long tail that it uses to strike. Legends about this beast date back to the stories from the Nez Perce tribe. In this, the tribe was constantly at war with the Blackfeet tribe. Eventually, peace was gained when the daughter of the chief of the Nez Perce, named Waluna, became romantically involved with the son of the Blackfeet tribe's chief, named Tlaska. At the ceremony, the tribes held a huge picnic where eventually the happy couple got into a canoe and ventured out into the calm Wallowa River. The crowd cheered until they saw a huge disturbance brewing from farther up the lake. The water boiled as it drew near the boat, and suddenly a massive serpent's head rose near the craft. The waves from the beast tossed the craft from side to side. As the crowd watched in horror, the beast circled the little boat and then raised its tail out of the water. It slammed it down on the center of the craft, splintering it and sending the couple flying. Moments later, the water returned to
That
being
ain't good.
still, but neither Waluna or Talaska returned to the surface. Later, a search party was gathered, but nothing could be found. It is said to this day that neither tribe will venture out into the water. On November
Probably good practice.
5, the beast was seen again by a prospector who wished not to be named. While on his boat, the beast, which was only 50 yards away, reared its head 10 feet out of the water. Upon seeing the craft, the creature sank underneath the surface, only to resurface on the opposite side of the craft. This time, it let out a sound that was similar to that of a bellowing of a cow. With this emergence, the body could also be seen, and it was said to be extremely large. While in this position, the monster swam along the surface for several hundred yards before vanishing from sight. From that time, the creature has been seen fairly frequently from 1932 to 1981, when it has been seen circling an island.
I mean, I didn't know we had our own Nessie. However, this Nessie seems to be not a very nice Nessie.
No, I mean, looks like it killed people.
It did, and but I didn't know it had been seen from the 1930s up to 1980, and probably even after that. But I always find stories a little bit more compelling when someone reports it, but they like I don't want to put my name to this because I don't want to be made fun of, kind of thing. Right. But is I don't know how deep this lake is. And again, I'm really surprised I've never heard about it. I mean, I know it's on the other side of the state from us, like 6 hours away, basically, but not hearing about our own Nessie is a little bit surprising.
Yeah, it's 91 meters, 299 feet deep.
That's deep, but it's not like
not like Loch Ness. Right.
All
right, that's interesting.
Much deeper than that, wasn't it? Yeah, it wasn't like I mean, I didn't know we had one. So, but now we know.
Now we know. All right, let's continue here.
Near Lincoln City, there is a body of water known as Devil's Lake, and native tales talk about a beast that resides in those waters that isn't our typical fare. Known simply as the Devil Lake Monster, it goes by the name Mde Wakawan, or Bad Spirit, in the Sioux legends. Typically, when talking about the lake monsters, we think of a plesiosaur. but this one is more akin to a giant octopus.
Hmm.
According to lore, the tribe gathered a group of warriors to cross the lake in order to hunt. Once reaching the halfway point, suddenly tentacles broke from the watery surface and began attacking the canoe. The screams of the warriors awoke those near the shore, and they gathered to watch the horror that was taking place. One by one, the men were pulled from the canoe and dragged under the water until no one remained. Nothing was ever recovered from this fateful trip, nor was the beast ever seen.
I'm trying to place his voice of kind of what it reminds me of. And it kind of reminds me of the guy who did the Garfield voice a little bit, or a Norm McDonald or something like that. He has that kind of voice, doesn't he? Have that kind
You
of,
know what? It's very Norm Macdonald. Yeah.
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 It's like maybe this was his second project he had going on, a little passion project.
Kind of like
I had
a
never,
nasally, lazy,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. It sounds like it's from the East Coast kind of dude. But I had never heard. I know Devil's Lake. I know that area around Lincoln City. I had never heard that there was the Devil's Lake monster.
Me neither.
That's awesome.
I mean, I lived on the coast, for a while, and I
So
feel
you
like
think you might have heard of it? Yeah.
I feel like I should have heard about it, but but I was also kind of like uninvolved and really didn't care what people said. So,
True that.
so two water monsters so far, and I think the narrator did say that the cryptids in Oregon appear to be water based. So,
Although we're going to get away from the water now, I think.
okay, here we go.
Breaking from the water, I would like to talk about a cryptid that frequently makes it on our list, but by most searches seems to be largely unknown for the state. This, of course, would be the ever-popular Dogman.
Dogman.
I know this
Never
is
heard of it.
for our honorable mention section, but the encounters are worthy of a spot here. Plus, I'm tired of being in the water. The story comes from a woman who wished to remain anonymous, but lives in the city of Albany in Lynn County. She states that she has a medical condition that keeps her homebound and frequently unable to sleep at night due to the pain involved with that. In March of 2017, this person was having trouble sleeping when she noticed her neighbor's motion sensor light turn on at 2:30 in the morning. She said it did this frequently and would illuminate the entire side of her house. Out of curiosity, she looked out the bedroom window and was shocked to see the form of what she described as a dog man walking past. Only able to see it from the chest up, she described it as having massive shoulders and a huge head. It had pointed ears like a German shepherd, a long muzzle, its mouth was open, and its tongue was extended out. At this sight, the woman let out a scream, and she claims that at this sound, the beast slowed down for a second, made a smirking expression, and then carried on. A week later, around the same
What a
time,
jerk.
large landed on the ground behind her house, and this was followed by a raspy breathing sound. There weren't any windows on that side of the house, so she wasn't able to identify what it was. Following these encounters, she told her husband about what she had seen, and he decided to measure how tall the creature was. By calculating the height of the window, it meant that this being was over 8 feet tall. What is fascinating is that this same woman stated that a few years prior, it was known that a homeless woman had been camping along the river nearby. She later was found dead, and by all reports, her tent and body had been torn up by some unknown animal. And looking
Probably a
at
bear.
this topic, I did see another encounter with a similar creature in Lane County near Eugene. In 2000, four friends were hanging out in the forest just having a good time.
That's fairly recent.
Time to go home, they had to walk a long dirt path to a footbridge that ended at the parking lot. While walking along, they all noticed a huge, shaggy-looking dog sitting 70 yards away along a tree line in an open field. It didn't seem to be threatening, but they all stated how enormous this thing was. Halfway across the bridge, one of the girls in the party let out a scream, and this is when they saw that the dog was standing on its hind legs and much closer to them than before. The speed at which it had crossed the field and how quietly it moved unnerved the group. They
Yeah,
all
that's pretty
got in
creepy.
the car, and as they got in, they saw this creature was now standing on the outskirts of the parking lot, just staring at them. After fumbling with the keys for a moment,
Menacingly.
they drove away to safety. Apparently, the encounter has remained fresh in the minds of all those involved, and to this day, one of the groups still refuses to talk about what happened that day.
I mean, for those watching on YouTube, I think it's just like a werewolf.
I mean, but it's they don't call it that. They call it dog man. So it's almost like it has more of human characteristics as far as how it acts. It's not out there just sort of mindlessly killing is what you kind of expect from a werewolf, right? More of that kind of a killer instinct. Although that if it was the homeless
Yeah.
lady, I don't think she was killed by a dog man. I think it was probably a bear that got her. But it is interesting a little bit that I like that last part where it talks about those kids out there or I don't know the college students whatever they were camping,
Right.
and some of them refuse to talk about it even today. Again, I find a lot of those things. I mean, if it's true what he's saying about this, and people don't want to talk about it, lends more credibility to the story. Is it probably just a huge? Or could it be a wolf, an actual wolf? Because wolves can get down. I don't know about down around Albany, but there's a lot of forest. I think forest land down there, so it's possible. But it's certainly an interesting story. And again, I had never heard of the dog man, or any kind of werewolf legend around the Oregon area.
Yeah, and I think you're first of all, if it's supposed to be 8 feet tall, have you heard of a wolf being standing on its hind legs?
No, I mean maybe 6 feet. I mean, if it's able to do that, but I don't know many wolves walking around on their hind legs unless they're trained by
Exactly.
humans to do something like that, right? So,
Exactly. And
you
I
know,
really appreciate also that, the woman was as she was describing that the wolf smirked
smart. Yeah.
as if like, "Huh, how you doing?"
Like, whatever, bitch. What are you gonna do about it?
All right, let's
Uh,
it's interesting. Yeah, to your point, I've never heard of Dog Man. I don't know. I mean, Dog Man kind of sounds like some sort of like, I don't know, like cartoon super.
Mascot, yeah. I think the last part of this is kind of that you was talking about earlier, the honorable mention
Yeah.
stuff. So it's kind of some of these honorable mentions. Actually, I have never. I've heard maybe of one of them, and maybe we'll talk about it at the end. But yeah, let's get to some of the honorable mentions here for the good
All
old
right.
state of Oregon.
I saw an interesting report from just a year ago where the rather new cryptid known as the crawler has been seen near Portland.
This
This
is the
creature
one.
was spotted on a few occasions, walking both bipedally and on all fours. There are various reports of thunderbirds being seen flying around the skies of this state. While I know
Just
this is
casually says that.
completely fake, I do enjoy including stories about old lumberjack tales. This state has two prominent creatures of this category, but the most important one is called the gumbaroo. This giant fat bear-shaped creature has completely black skin, is hairless except for having eyebrows and chin hair, and its hide is impervious to projectiles. While this creature is known to be highly aggressive, it does have
Heyo.
behind it. Apparently, it is capable of causing fires and is able to explode. Due to this, many forest fires are blamed on them. It is
Mm.
also said that even photographs of them will inexplicably explode as well. Yes, the photographs themselves. It is said it is best not to breathe the air after one has exploded, since the particles will coat the intestines of an individual with rubber and cause a wrong diagnosis of tuberculosis. I say
Jeez.
it might not exist only because some feel that this could be a misidentification of a bear with mange. Our final
Mm.
creature is said to share the waters with the Wallowa Lake monster, and it is giant crabs. It is said to be a popular pioneer story, but apparently there are similar legends found in other areas around the world. In ending this,
Yeah, I never heard of giant crabs. Why did it begin a lake in eastern Oregon? That is like even having a plesiosaur in the Wallowa Lake there, 6 hours from the ocean seems unlikely. But I mean, who knows? It was weird how you just sort of casually mentioned the Thunderbird. I had never heard of anybody's seeing a Thunderbird around anywhere.
Me neither. Me neither. And honestly, the crawler or whatever, the one that preceded the Thunderbird.
That's the most interesting one to me, right?
I mean, that could
'Cause
all just be a naked homeless person walking around Portland that is emaciated. So who knows?
maybe, but I mean, I don't know. I guess that the crawlers have been seen elsewhere too. It is not just around this area. He said that it's kind of it's bigger and maybe in other places, but it's kind of cool to hear about some of our own history here
Yeah.
locally. Again, the Gumbaroo, I believe, is a beer from the Deschutes Brewery. Now, I think that's a beer, or at least something. I'm pretty sure that was a beer at like one point, like an IPA. And I think we actually, or Claire used to have it. My wife hanging one of the little put in your window, the not the window, the mirror. What do they call it? A hanger, whatever, of the Gumbaroo. Am I correct in that assumption that?
I don't know how to spell it. I'm assuming it's Gumbaroo or
Yeah,
what,
I think so.
but nothing's
Yeah.
coming up under that. But gumball head does come up.
I thought there was the Gumbaroo, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Oh,
not.
wait, here we go. Gumbaroo Rogue.
Oh, it's Rogue. Sorry, not Deschutes. That's right. Okay,
The
Rogue.
Rogue
Rogue
Gumbaroo
Brewery.
West Coast IPA.
That's right. Yeah.
And
That's a pretty good beer.
Yeah, it's and the image is that fat hairless bear with eyebrows and chin
Chin hair. Yeah, that's awesome,
Oh
right?
my God. Well, that was interesting, and thanks for bringing
Yeah,
us back to the PNW, as you said. And
definitely.
folks, if you enjoy this content, please give it a like and share it across your socials to help get the word out about our show. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe. And on YouTube, click that notification bell to make sure that you don't miss out on any future uploads. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.